G'day guys, Duckville here. Welcome to a Terran vs Protoss matchup. It is from a little while ago, just sort of very late last season. As we will see, top left-hand side, as our red Terran player here from Team Clarity Gaming. He's just sort of given away. It is Elhaym. Just having a quick chat. We're going to have a battle of the Canadians here, as down at the bottom right hand side, as our blue Protoss player here from, well, his personal sponsorship from Asus, it is desRow. Both these players, of course, do a lot of streaming. You can jump on to their particular streams over on Twitch TV and have a look. Also, feel free to jump on the Twitters and say hello to them over there on Twitter. So this should be interesting. desRow has always been a very high-level Protoss player, as he has competed in quite a few LAN events and has also been in some online stuff as well for quite a long time now. He's been around for quite a long period of the StarCraft 2 scene. I'd say, I guess, basically from the start. For Elhaym, of course, he's a little bit newer in that respect, but has really impressed me with his performances in some of the replay packs that he has released over on Team Liquid, and of course in some of the matches that his team Clarity Gaming have had against other clans and teams. So we'll see what he wants to get up to here. He's going to go for a Reaper opening, it looks like, an SCV just now heading out. He's going to head across and see what harassment he can get on. For desRow, I'll be interested to see what he wants to go for, because this map is really interesting for Protoss players. You get a lot of space to jump in with your with Blink Stalkers in particular. Of course, you've got all of this room across here. There is a possibility of jumping in the back there at the natural as well, but it's obviously very rare to see that. But there is a lot of room for that kind of play here, and Terran players always have to be a little bit worried about that kind of stuff coming out on Star Station. But of course, you know, new season, this one did get removed, but what was, I guess, what has sort of replaced this map as a very Blinkish kind of map is Heavy Rain. If you guys have played on Heavy Rain, I'm sure the Terran players may have had a little bit of sadness against Protoss players, because you can blink in on all sorts of directions on that map. Now, desRow is going to head across to the top corner of the map. I'm interested to see what this is going to be about. He does put a pylon down. Looks as if hasn't got the second gas and is going to invest in the mothership core. So I think this may be like a little bit of a later kind of proxy of some kind. I'm guessing it's going to be Stargate, because I have seen that desRow does quite admire the old Oracle harassment kind of stuff. So I'm assuming we're going to see something like that coming out from desRow here as he accumulates the gas. But of course the issue is that he won't have as much gas available to him. So Elhaym is going to know that. He did scout through and saw that there was only, in fact, he didn't actually scout the second gas, but you can assume that that's there. But did see that there was only one for the time being. Cancels his engineering bay that was blocking off the natural base. So for the moment, Elhaym is feeling that it is going to be just a much more normal sort of macro kind of game, because his opponent did not have the gas. But, you know, as I said, we can all see that there could be something fishy coming about from desRow. Still is a possibility of a Twilight up there, just as a sneaky kind of blink play as well. So I guess we can't actually count that one out for the time being. But desRow now saving up a lot of chrono boost here on his main nexus. We've got a couple of units just patrolling here to keep an eye on what is going on inside the main base. They want to be able to stop that Reaper if it comes back and tries to get some scouting on, because at this point, you'd normally expect a Reaper to be coming back, but Elhaym is, well, did he lose a Reaper? No, he didn't. Where is it? Okay, it's over here, trying to get inside, and he had a quick look, but didn't really see too much. Just saw that there was a second gas, but no real signs of the tech that is coming out of his opponent. So there it is over on the other side of the map. There is going to be a proxy Stargate here from desRow. Interesting to see. As I said, this is a little bit later than you would normally see this kind of stuff, just because he did get the gas a little bit later. So I'm interested to see how much damage this is going to get done, because it is going to be, as I said, a little bit later, where normally we might have a couple of Marines protecting the mineral lines at that point. So Elhaym's going to scout forward. He's going to see with a scan that there is a second gateway coming up, but no third gate, no robo or anything like that. And desRow is going to put down one, maybe two more gates very soon, just to make sure that he has enough production. But I mean, 3 should be enough for now, as he does have... Oh, he knows what he's doing. Uh-oh, the jig is up. as I'm really interested. Looks as if, oh, a little bit of mind games here from desRow. He's going to say, I got to blink sometimes, and it looks as if desRow is going to be pushing forwards a little bit of a that sneaky play, but here comes the Oracle, and the Oracle going to be scouting through. Is not going to get too much done. I think there's too many Marines here to be able to get a huge amount of SCV kills, but he does find a couple, and he will be picking them off for now. Not too badly done. 5 workers is pretty decent. I mean, part of the issue here for Elhaym is that he has to run around a long way if he wants to get into certain positions here. There's because the racks have kind of blocked him off for a little bit there. So the Oracle does go down, takes a total of 6 worker kills here for desRow, but he is not going to make a second one, so we're just going to have a small amount of harassment here. Charge is now following this up along with +1 on the armor for our Protoss player, and things from this point are just kind of going to transition back into a little bit of a normal play. I mean, there's the first time you throw out that Oracle, of course your opponent knows that something fishy was going on, so as we saw, Elhaym was well prepared with a lot of Marines out on the map. Now, he does have Stem just about to complete, +1 to weapons is on the way, so that should be completing at around about the 10:30 mark, I believe, and it will have some aggression coming out from Elhaym as soon as these first couple of medevacs come out. Just all standard kind of buyer stuff coming from our Terran play here, so he's deflected the initial Protoss attack and now will be looking to try and get some map control and perhaps push it back across to try and get his own aggression going here. But desRow adding in a whole bunch of gates. We've now got him up to a total of 9 gates here. Is our Protoss. He does have a charge on the way, so we are going to be going for what looks to be quite likely an Archon / Templar / Zealot kind of charge push, which does can do a ridiculous amount of damage if you're not prepared for it. So we'll see what Elhaym is going to be doing here, as you know, medevacs are just starting to pop out. We've got one over there, and we should have another one. Where is it? There it is. Okay, it is coming through, but it's a little bit later. I believe we had a short supply block for a second there, which may have stopped Elhaym from getting that out on time. But now, with the gateways finishing up, this is a point where desRow is going to start to really crank up the production. Of course, normally at this point, you'd want to see the Nexus going down over at the 3rd base, and he is going to head over there. So he's probably going to plant that one down, but just still prepare a lot of push potential here, because at the point that the Storm is available, that really cranks up the available aggression that a Protoss can utilize against a Terran. So this is going to be interesting to see how Elhaym is going to deal with this one. He's pushing forwards with his Marines. His +1 to weapons is just about finished up. Around about the, I guess it's the 11:30 mark. I missed the timing on that one. But he pushes forwards. Charge is now up. A couple of nice force fields, but leaves a small hole, and that is actually really bad for desRow, because that means his own Zealots are going to be they're going to be stuck behind the force field. So Elhaym now pushing across, going to try and get a cancel at a minimum on this Nexus here. Loses a few Marines for the cost of that, but there is the cancel now, jumping into the medevac straight up towards the main base here. We do have a couple of Templar available, but Storm, of course, is just a few seconds away from completing. Takes out a pylon, charges in towards the main mineral line here, and it will get a little bit of damage done, but eventually Storm comes out. He sees what's coming up. He says, okay, I know what we've got here. We've got the old +2 armor charge lot and Templar base play, so he's going to have to prepare for that in the adequate fashion. We'll probably see a Ghost Academy go down very soon here from Elhaym, as he does need to get just at least the tech prepared for the Ghost switchover, which he will need to get rolling very soon. A couple of these Zealots now heading across towards the 3rd base of Elhaym. Still has not established that just yet, but does have a lot of units out in the middle of the map, ready to push again and try and cancel the 3rd of desRow, give him a taste of his own medicine. These Zealots from desRow, not really going to get too much done. Concussive shells should be able to slow them down, and he should be able to catch them. But now a drop inside the natural base does get cleaned up by that single Templar there, but at the cost of the 3rd. Gets cancelled again, and Elhaym is out of there. Quick sticks, and he is going to run away for now. But some Zealots now warping in on the opposite side. This is going to be a very dangerous sandwich here. In fact, sandwiching himself is Elhaym, getting stuck on the Zelnaga watchtower. Zealots charging in. They're +2 to armor. They get the Guardian Shield as well. All of these armor-based, I guess, skills mean that put them all together, and what do you get? Zealots that almost never die to Marines. They will take, what is it? So the Marines are doing 7, so they get the 3 armor plus the extra, 2 from Guardian Shield, which means that, you know, the Marines are not going to do anything at all, basically. So it takes a long time for this kind of Bioforce to be able to deal with those charge lots. Now, Elhaym is going to pick up. He's going to get out of here for now. Just looking back at his base, increasing the production. We're now up to 7 racks. I'm still a little bit surprised we haven't seen the Ghost Academy go down. No, we don't actually have that out just yet. Really, really weird that he hasn't picked that up just yet. But he is going to continue the aggression inside the main base, taking out the Mothership Core. Nicely done. But a wonderful storm there from desRow. Does clean up a lot of the health on these Marines. Zealots are going to charge through. Is there a spare feedback or two perhaps for these medevacs? It looks like the answer is no. But he does push them out for now. And desRow is going to have a little bit of a fun time dropping down some storms on top of all of these units. Even medevacs are getting cleaned up right now. Elhaym has to boogie on out of there, loading up and getting these medevacs out as quickly as he can. There we go. Afterburn's out of the way. He's going to drop inside the main base again. Now let's keep in mind that back home, Elhaym has finally been able to establish his own third base. So he's going to have a nice amount of production coming out. I'm not sure why we've got a rally point over here. I think he's sort of just a little bit of miss mechanics going on there from Elhaym, but it's all good. desRow has now got his own third base up and established. We'll see him start to kick up his production a little bit more, but Blink is on the way. We'll probably see, where is the... We haven't seen the switch over to the Robo units just yet. We've got the Robo up and we'll get a couple of observers out, but we would like to see perhaps the Colossus start to, I guess, at least 1 or 2 start to come out, because this kind of play, this is the really, this is a nice advantageous part of playing Protoss, especially when you have the economy available, is that when you switch over techs like this, it can be really, really strong. Get a couple of Colossus out. If they don't have any Vikings, if the Terran is not prepared with Vikings or something like that, then you can absolutely smash through them. But speaking of smashing, now dropping inside the natural base, here comes Elhaym. Some more storms dropping out, feedbacks there from desRow. Almost gets that. Yes, he does get the medevac that was off to the side, and that is going to limit the drop power here. One Marine's going to pop out. I'm not exactly sure what the idea is there from Elhaym, but I don't know. Back at home, for him, he's got a nice economy up and running. 66 SCVs for our Terran player from Clarity Gaming. He'll probably look to take a 4th. I would assume it's going to be over here very soon. He's continuing on this harassment. Has been doing a wonderful job here. Like we saw before that desRow put a cannon down and a couple of zealots to protect this top area here, but there is still a lot of space to drop into. You can come around the side and drop in here at the main base. You can then dart back and forwards between the third and that main base as well, and it just provides it's a lot of surface area that you have to be extremely careful of. So that is a couple of things that we can see our Protoss player needs to be wary of, but he's going to take a 4th base now, just sort of extending that zone that he has to be wary of, because, I mean, when you move up towards the 4th base, this also adds in areas like this, and of course coming in from this, all of those. I guess that last one's not really very good, but there is a lot of space to attack in here as well. So Elhaym is going to load up 4 of those medevacs. Our Marines and Marauders, they're finally picking up their 2-2. I feel like it's a little bit later than you would normally want it to be, but his Ghost Academy is also completed as well, researching the Mobius reactor, as he is going to start cranking out a couple of ghosts every now and then. Normally when you get to this stage as a Terran player, you really do want to have at least a small force of ghosts out. If you can get a larger one, they always do a lot of damage, and they can be quite helpful in dealing with a large, I guess, particularly when there's a lot of Archons and Templar. Throw down a couple of EMPs, and you can smash down those units. Now desRow did see the drop coming in, but Elhaym was able to get in there. He's going to try and smash down a couple of these buildings here, but doesn't really get too much for all of that effort. So he's forced to back out for now. Loses quite a lot of his forces. 2 of the medevacs will survive, but I mean, he's trying to establish some of this map control here, and I do like his supply depot wall. It's very cute. Maybe we may need to chuck another supply depot in over here as well, just to make sure that it's fully walled off. But he is now taking a 4th base. It's up at the 12 o'clock position. Took a different one to what I thought he was going to go for. But now Elhaym is looking to try and establish some map control right now, as his +2-2 is now finishing up. And he's got a lot of Marauders in his force right now. 20 Marauders out on the map in total. 31 Marines and 7 Ghosts around. Finally, we're starting to see the Ghostbusters starting to come onto the field here for Elhaym. We've got a couple of Marines that are stuck here. I'm not sure what these guys are up to, but just sort of sitting at the back for now. Meanwhile for desRow, I mentioned the Colossus switch. We've got that coming along at a beautiful pace. This is exactly what you want to do. Throw up a second Robo, get your Robo Bay up and running, and then start cranking out those Colossus. These guys can really catch a Terran player off guard. If they don't have a second starport and be able to just quickly switch into Vikings, you can really catch them out, and this is just perfect transitioning here from desRow. It's been a little bit slower than he would have wanted to in terms of picking up the 4th base and all these kinds of things, because Elhaym has been laying on the pressure constantly throughout this game. But I mean, he has gotten there, and this is exactly the spot you want to be. And then this is a part where Terran players start to really feel the heat when you're against the Protoss, because you know, you've got your Colossus to deal with most of the units on the ground. You've got the Templar there that can also throw down some extra AoE. And then, of course, you know, that's not even counting the fact that Zealots are going to be doing huge amounts of damage with their upgrades there. He's got +3 on the way. Extended Thermal Lance is just about to finish as well. Wonderful feedbacks there from desRow. Finishes off the medevacs extremely quickly there. And now the rest of those units were taken out. Beautiful positioning of not only this Observer that was scouting out this area, but that Templar, just to keep an eye on where those units were coming from. So really nicely done by desRow, just deflecting that drop for now. And Elhaym, he's at 162 supply at the moment, so he's a little bit off his max, but he does have a lot of ghosts, which I really like. 16 ghosts are out on the field, and as we were talking about before, ghosts really, they really come into their own when you start to move into mid to late game. Why is this, you ask? Well, when you start to get to mid to late, you really want to be very efficient with the units, because that's the point where you have to start considering, especially on the smaller maps. Obviously this one does have a couple of extra bases that are available, but you want to be considering, I need to be a little bit more efficient with my units. And then, so the best way to do that is to use energy-based units such as the Templar. You can use lots of AoE like these Colossi and also the Archons as well. And this is obviously where Protoss really leads into a good position in terms of mid to late game at TVP, because they have the powerful Colossi, they've got storms, they've got feedbacks, they've got all these very efficient kind of functions that can be used against a Terran. So as a Terran, I you know, when you start to see lots of ghosts coming out, that's a really good idea, because you can snipe, you can EMP as we see there. desRow wants none of that with so many ghosts coming out, but it gets a couple of feedbacks, but we've still got a total of 15 ghosts out on the map, which is a huge impressive total. I must say it's pretty decent once you get past the 10 mark. Some people stop at 10, some people head up to, like, I've seen the Muslim go up to like 20, 25 ghosts, and it's kind of like, you may be overstepping it a little bit there, buddy, calm down. But we can now see, moving forward, the Ghosts, will they be able to get some of their EMPs off? There they go, nicely done. But is there enough ground firepower here from Elhaym to be able to deal with this force? Because we've got to consider, desRow is up at 302 and just about to be 303 on his upgrades right now. Meanwhile, for Elhaym, still waiting for that +3 on the armor. We've got Cloak coming up for those Ghosts, so they'll be able to be a little bit more effective in their fights. But, you know, the issue was here is that Elhaym was a little bit low in his army count at that point. So, got to be careful with all of your movements here. desRow starting to send a couple of units around the map. We had some DTs warping in. I'm not sure where they are, though. Okay, they're just heading up towards the this attempted base over here. And now, as we can see, Elhaym is going to have to deal with this powerful force that's still in the middle of the map. A few more Templar are being added to the mix. Charge Lots and Dark Templar trying to go to work on this planetary fortress. But as long as it's repaired, they shouldn't really be able to deal with that. But is he seriously going to let this one go? Oh, wow. The planetary fortress dies down. desRow going to be very happy with that. Not to mention, he's going to be happy that his 5th base has gone up and is nicely established over there. Vikings going to drop down to the ground. Perhaps a little bit of mismicro there from Elhaym, but not to worry. He's still got a reasonable force out on the field, and if he gets the correct engagement, then you can certainly have a pretty decent time against the Protoss. But the issue is getting that correct engagement. It just becomes extremely hard to deal with the Protoss. But a few EMPs come out, but some Storms do go down, and the Storms absolutely annihilate the Ghosts there. Some feedbacks off to the side, some wonderful flanking Templar there from desRow. The Storms are just incredible from the Canadian Protoss, and holy moly, he's just ripped through everything there. Elhaym's micro, I think, was he was perhaps a little bit busy with the with some of these proxy attacks that were coming across, and I mean, he still hasn't cleared out this watchtower here, which is perhaps a little bit of a troublesome spot for him. But desRow, Is he going to be able to finish this one up? Because, I mean, it is certainly looking very good from here for his position right now. 3 Colossi are on the way. 1, 2, 3 Robos pumping out the big spiders there. And we will see if this switch from desRow is going to work out for him. There are 4 Vikings on the way, which is going to be a lot of Vikings to contend with. But, I mean, you've still got to deal with the fact that Vikings are going to be clumping up, as we saw before. They will get smashed apart by storms as well. And desRow has been consistently attacking this 5th base here, luring out the Terran into these sort of weird positions. We saw before that Elhaym had to leave a couple of Marines here in this position to defend this base, and I think that's slightly mispositioned there. Oh well, not to worry. But, I mean, when you start to split up a Terran, that's when they start to fall into a really tough position, because, I mean, you need to have a lot of these Marauders together, and, of course, all the Ghosts around as well. And we do have a Tempest switch over here from desRow. I really, really like this. I really love seeing Tempest in this late game stage here. Puts a clock on the Terran, makes them sort of think, alright, well, I'm eventually going to start to have to deal with a lot of Tempest, possibly Void Rays as well. Maybe even Carriers can come out, but, you know, good joke, Duckbill. But this starts to put a clock on the Terran, and they have to be extremely careful with how they engage from here. But Observer is going to be spotting out all of these units here from desRow. Keep in mind that the Tempest can shoot further than they can see, so you have to be very careful about that kind of stuff here. As Elhaym is now moving back, he's trying to move across towards the middle of the map. A nuke is going down. A Ghost has somehow snuck across the map. He's going to drop down a nuke in this position here. If he can maybe kill off all these workers, that would be wonderful for desRow. He finds out that this is the base under attack. It does evacuate all of the probes. Unfortunate for Elhaym that he wasn't able to finish that one off, but he does finish off a Nexus across at the 6 o'clock position. May need to re-establish that command center really, really quickly, because the main force is down on the southern side of the map. But now, desRow pushing forwards. This is the part where he is going to start to really take control of this game if he can finish off this battle. But pushing forwards are those the rest of the Terran forces, and somehow Elhaym has been able to smash down a lot of the units, but now the resupply coming in. Lots of Zealots on the ground. These guys have got their, they have their 313 upgrades, and eventually desRow cleans all of this up, does lose a few of his own units there, but Elhaym has fallen down in that battle, and now we can see the Tempest count starting to increase again. We've got triple production there in Elhaym. GG's out. It was just getting too difficult to deal with the Protoss at that stage. Once they get these high-powered units out, the Tempest, the Colossus, once they're out in large numbers, we could even see triple Immortals now coming out. It just gets so difficult to deal with that kind of stuff. So really great, you know, you guys, for the Protoss players, of course, keep an eye on the transitioning that desRow went through there. Really nicely done. Secure 3rd base, secure the 4th base, start transitioning over to the Tempest as well. And I'm not even kidding, carriers can actually do really well once you get to this position on 4 bases. But anyway, nice game from both of these players, Elhaym and from desRow. Go and check them out on their streams and on their Twitters as well. I'll catch you all next time. Here, as you can see, 47 damage to bio units, and then the 34 damage against other standard targets. His storms have also been wonderful, just spreading them out across the battlefield, doing really, really nicely there. And for minigun, he's been sticking with a much more